Everybody, welcome to RecFest 2025 in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. My name is Adam Posner. You may know me better as The Poz with the Pozcast, and you can certainly check out all the fun episodes we're about to share at thepozcast.com. I want to thank our friends over at Juicebox, Juicebox.ai. Check them out for all of your AI-powered CRM, sourcing, and outreach. They're absolutely incredible. What's really cool about RecFest, these letters right here travel around the world. They come all the way from London back and forth to Nashville every year. And this is a spot. This is where people are taking their photo because this is what it's all about. This is RecFest. Unlike any other event that's out there, industry agnostic. You know why? Because it's outdoors. The vibes are high. The crowd is feeling good. Come along for the ride. We're going to wrap up day one here with the man himself, the CEO of Juicebox, David Paffenholz. What's happening, man?
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me. We can do this.
Sure, I didn't even notice the Juicebox shirt. I love it.
People, but this is actually kind of cool.
Okay, can you run the demo?
Well, so let's run with that for a second there. I use Juicebox. I use Juicebox every single day. I'm sure you could see it in your system, my activity use. I love the product. I'm not just saying this because you guys are so generous and brought me out here. It's been a game changer for me as a recruiter. And I've been recruiting for about 10 years and I'm in the trenches doing it every single day. And I don't know if you've been following along. I went through a recent health situation and my available time during the day was limited. So I needed to find a way to be more efficient. And this tool did it for me. I was able to 3x my efficiency and work smarter and also think differently as a recruiter, how I utilize the tool for not just one role and not just one level, but how do I expand it? How do I contract it? How do I use it? And so everyone out there, I'm not just here because these guys asked me to be, or I asked them. It's because I actually use a product. But let me ask you this. Why the hell did you create this thing in the first place?
I got that question a couple of times today. So
like that? Like why the hell did you?
No, this was the most direct version.
That's what we do here.
So I started the business in 2022 together with my co-founder, Sean. We, at the time, had a slightly different thesis. So we were actually building a recruiting marketplace. So we were trying to onboard talent ourselves. We were reaching out to them. We were doing the sourcing and we weren't very good at it. We were like,
something's not working here.
It was not working. We were the world's worst recruiting agency. And so that's where we got started. Yes, yeah. It was a brutal lesson in self-awareness, but it was also a great learning journey because we got to know what is talent search actually like? What does that mean? What are the pain points in that? And from a fortunate timing perspective, it also happened to be right before ChatGPT came out. And so this was July 2022.
Right into the radar.
Exactly. ChatGPT was October 2022. Mm-hmm. And that was where we then got started. We started building software to help discover talent, assess talent as you were searching, built on top of LLMs. The beginning LLMs weren't that good. Lots of hallucinations, like not super reliable, but they got better and better. And so that was kind of the journey of how we first started with Juicebox.
Necessity is the mother of invention, right? And you think about the product. And I love that you had the perspective, because you guys didn't come from a recruiting background. And you had to learn what it means to be a recruiter, to create something that's going to help us. And Juicebox isn't trying to replace recruiters. It's trying to enable them to be faster, more efficient, better, smarter. It's like a Daft Punk song here, right? Better, faster, harder, stronger. To give them more time for the human side. Did you have any of that initial feedback from the industry as a whole, or was it just in the beginning?
It's a good question, and it's something we still get like once in a while of, do you want to replace recruiters, especially with like the agent product where, it goes a little bit more autonomous and it does more of it. And so the answer is no, we definitely don't want to replace recruiters. I actually think there will be more recruiters in the future because I think talent matters. As AI tools enable talent, the impact any given individual can have is like accelerated. And so it really matters who you have on your team. I think that results in more recruiting. What we want to do is help people do better recruiting. And so we want to help you find talent more efficiently. We want to help you go more in depth. And we also want to free up time to spend that time face-to-face with a candidate instead.
Without giving away the trade secrets here, how does Juicebox work from a data perspective? Where is it pulling it in? And how are you triangulating what a good candidate looks like based on the search criteria?
Yep.
That's a hard question.
Yeah, the thing that we spend a lot of time on is two actually different things. One is enrichment. So how much information can we add to a given profile? What information do we have about the company, their growth rate? Who does this company typically sell to?
I love that feature.
Exactly, likely to switch. So some cool things that we do on the company level. And then we look at different data sources, etc. But then the way we use that to do a good search is actually by trying to break down the user's intent. And so, user gives a prompt, and then we have a few different ways of looking at that of, okay, the the prompt says we want someone who works well in a fast-paced environment. Now, what does that actually mean? That could mean it's a company that's growing quick.
Yeah, you need to have a hard data point to triangulate that, right?
Exactly. And so we try to give that back to the user of, here's a suggested criteria of has worked at a fast-growing company or has seen a team size double while they were there. And then it kind of puts the question back to the user of what do you actually want? Like, is this the right thing? And so that's where we try to calibrate and get to the right result.
And how do you work with your clients to fine tune that? I know I've given feedback during my searches too. I've been certain criteria, and we're still relatively early stage here. Yes, congrats on the Series A, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But from a lifespan of a company, we're still in the early stages.
For sure.
How important is that feedback loop with your customers?
Yeah, it's super important.
That's to a certain extent, but you need the folks that are in the trenches using it daily.
Yes, yeah, and we use the product extremely heavily for our own recruiting, everyone on the team, which is also a really great way to get feedback. And then we try to spend a ton of time. I spend a lot of my time getting feedback from our customers directly, and that's also what's awesome about this event is I can meet a ton of people in real life and hear their feedback live. At the same time, the company has grown quite a bit. We now work with over 3,000 customers, a lot of different talent teams using the platform, which also means it has to be an intentional effort to kind of know what matters for each of those customers. What are the things we hear recurringly? Where we can we really make a difference and do something particularly well? And those are the things that we try to invest in.
What has been the biggest growth for you as a founder and a leader? Like that moment of self-awareness where you're like, you know what, I could do better at this, or I'm not doing something.
I think the biggest thing that I feel like I've had to develop or spend time reflecting on is really identifying what am I actually bad at, and then acknowledging, okay, I'm not good at this given thing, and then how do I get better at that? In the beginning, it was sales. I was not good at sales, and I was our first seller. I was doing all the demos, and I just had to learn it. And I knew, like, okay, the only way to solve that is to get better at sales. Spend a lot of time learning it, and now I think I'm an okay seller. Now the kind of new thing is like, okay, I'm maybe not the best sales manager. And so there the solution is kind of bringing in sales leadership. And so I think that like trying to build that self-awareness and trying to test myself is like a very continuous process, and it's also a hard one.
Well, that's the biggest thing about being a leader. There's things that you need to know how to do, because how do you oversee somebody or guide someone to do something that you either haven't done or aren't great at? But more importantly, when you identify those blind spots, you know what? It'll take more time for me to learn and be great at something versus hiring someone who's already great at it. So you can focus on what your core strengths are. I want to double back to your customers and really talk about what is one of those use cases that put such a smile on your face recently that said, you know what, we're doing things the right way here, and we're building something that's making a difference in the space. You can feel free to give a shout out to, you can if you want, or just give us an industry. My
favorite ones by far are cases where we have like a number of these trials where a recruiting team comes to us, or a recruiter comes to us and says like, this is they always give us their hardest roles during the trial, like onboarding.
Why?
Because it's like, oh, I'm stuck on this role. Like, can your tools solve this? Exactly. And like,
it's actually a smart move.
I would do the same thing. So it makes a ton of sense. And once in a while, we get those situations where like, even in the first call or like the beginning of the trial, it's like, hey, I got 20 candidates in the first 10 minutes that I had never seen before. I reached out to them, and sometimes we have cases where it's like that's the person they end up hiring, and it's just so cool because we know like that's something people got stuck on for like months, and they were able to solve it. Just took a different approach to get there.
I'm going to double down on that as a user of the product here. So for me as a recruiter, and I recruit, let's just say I'm recruiting for an advertising agency. Not look at the completing agency and straight in. But what Juicebox, the tool, has given me is the ability to do exactly what you just said. Look for stones I haven't turned over yet. And that's really what it's all about. So first and foremost, congratulations on the fundraising on the Series A with Sequoia and some other folks involved there as well. How hard is it? It's the fundraising part. And from what I hear from founders, it's not really enjoyable.
Yeah, we've had a number of fundraising journeys, and they've all had like different levels of difficulty. Fortunately, as the business have grown, the fundraising process has gotten a bit easier in the sense that we can show, some traction and some data beyond it. Whereas in the beginning, you're really just pitching the vision and your
concept that you're selling.
Exactly. Right. And recruiting space is not that popular with investors. And so there's not been that many huge recruiting companies. And so there's always some like extra proof points that have to be delivered. And now we kind of know.
So when you walk around here, let's be very real about this. Like, this is some very unique features to Juicebox. There's also products and companies here that do something similar. Does any of the technology or anything around here, either scare you guys or inspire you guys to try something different? I mean, to add something or maybe something you didn't see?
Yeah, in general, I love these shows because you can get to know new vendors and see like what's out there. I'm also just always genuinely curious, and I get excited. Even like companies that compete with us, because it forces us to get better, and like maybe they think of something that we haven't thought of yet. So generally, it gets me excited. I think I'm always interested in the spaces that we're not in because I feel like I know kind of what's in our space, and so I've been trying to learn a little bit more about like the AI interviewing space. I know a few people who have like started companies there or like work at companies there, and that's also something I've tried to spend a little bit more time on here.
Well, that's interesting. What was the hardest part about fundraising?
I think
the rejection.
Yeah, to be honest, the rejections, like that was hard in the beginning, but like, so we've done 3 fundraisers now. And the first time it was like, I didn't really know what I was doing. I had to learn it all and had to like figure it out. And there was a ton of rejection. That was really hard. And then the second time around, I kind of knew what the process was and I was okay with the rejection. But there, I think the hardest thing was like proving to people that you can build a really big company in recruiting and showing what the vision is. And then in the most recent fundraisers, a little bit more focused on like, here's the numbers, here's the growth, here's how we're going to continue to grow. Exactly. And so it's a little bit more like a bet that's like easier to justify with numbers as well. And like you can put some data behind it. And so I think with that, like there's been a unique challenge in each of those fundraisers.
What's next on deck? Give us some alpha here, a podcast exclusive here at RecFest with CEO David. What is some alpha? What's a feature you guys are working on? What's in the secret Willy Wonka lab back there?
Yeah, so it's just been like in the works for a while, but a lot of stuff on ATS rediscovery coming soon. So really going deep into your existing ATS data.
And then it'll use the tools to resurface relevant candidates.
Exactly. Filter through show people who are maybe not in Juicebox, refresh people who are, and do a lot with your existing ATS data.
I say this all the time. These companies don't go back to listen, you did the initial sourcing. Someone might have been a associate level and it was 5 years ago. Now you're sourcing manager, direct level. You have those candidates in your database.
Yep.
You need to just revisit. What's exciting you in this space in general, David? Like just looking around here, there's a vibe, it's exciting. But what's getting your juices flowing?
I mean, I think the AI interviewing stuff is cool. I think everything that goes like truly agentic, where like there's some independent decision making happening from software is always really cool. I think there's still like, it's pretty early days for that, right? Yeah. Like, and we haven't really seen it proven out. I think there's a lot of questions still, but even like a year from now, I expect us to be a lot further on that. I guess both us in the form of Juicebox, but also other companies. What else? I guess I think for a long time, the ATS category hasn't changed a ton. Like there hasn't been that many
technological revelations, evolutions,
yeah.
It's still a database and you're changing either the UI, the UX, the front end, the discoverability. Like it's still a electronic filing cabinet. How do we do better with it? Yeah,
and I think there's like some examples of vendors in the space having like taken a cool approach on that, doing different AI features. We work closely with the Ashby team. I think they've done some really cool things, and I think we'll see more like ATS native AI development as well, which I'm excited for too.
That's awesome. And let's throw some flowers at your team here. Let's get some shout outs to some folks on the team that have been doing some great stuff.
First off, shout out to Vicky who set this all up. She did everything. So from like choosing the booth design, organizing all this, flying out here early. Yeah, thank you. I do too.
It's open air.
Exactly. Open air has some plans.
He's real?
I'm not sure.
No, yeah, it's Wiltering. I think it's anyway, shout out to Vicky.
Yes, credits to Vicky. And then credits to Angela, whose first conference it is. She's not on the sales team, but she's been running a ton of demos today. She's our chief of staff. And then the entire sales team for everyone who's here for running the show.
It's an exciting time. It's an exciting space. I'm excited to be here with Juicebox. I want to thank David and the team for bringing me out here. We got a bunch more interviews coming at you day 2. Pods is going to be out on the street. We have a whole bunch of fun questions we're going to ask everybody. But that's it for RecFest Day 1. I'm Adam. He's Dave. He's Juicebox. I'm the podcast. And we're out.
Let's go.
Awesome.